Have you ever thought of, or maybe you've even been asked whether or not you should resign and start over? Have you ever thought about starting over again and signing up under another team or something like that? Right? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about here because somebody had asked me this question, and I want to walk you through how I handled that situation this time. Okay, so someone contacted me and sent me a message, and they explained a little bit about the situation, and then their question was, do you think as a business-minded person that taking a step back, resigning, and re-entering under a different team is even a feasible plan for success? Well, based upon what I had received, I didn't have enough information, okay? So I needed to fully understand the scene. So we met on Zoom. I wanted all the data so I could understand the scope of what the person was dealing with. When I talk about the scope, I'm not necessarily looking for all the drama. I'm just looking for what are the dones, and not, in other words, when I say drama, I'm talking about how do I feel and things like that. I'm looking for what are the dones. Okay, so what had the upline done or not done, that kind of a thing. That's what I was really looking for. I listened intently. I asked questions. The person I found to be being responsible. That's what I found. Very bright person, kind of an infectious sort of a personality, right? And so I walked through my history, right? My upline was never consistent, and I'm going back like 30 years. Sometimes great, sometimes so embarrassing, I wanted to like crumble into like a cracker crumbles, okay? Like I didn't even have the guts to call my prospect back, okay? Because I was so embarrassed that what my upline didn't talk about, but did talk about. I explained it so the person knew I had empathy. So now, if you watched other videos, what I'm going through here is in the world of helping people, coaching people, experience is really good. Not, it's even if it's not exactly the same situation, experience is good. And so all that I try to do when I ask somebody to talk and then that person starts to communicate, if the person talks too much and goes too far, then it kind of creates a vacuum. And so I want to communicate back, and so that person, so that there's a bit of an ambiance, for lack of better ways of saying this, is that there's an equality in the communication. Okay, and I'm talking about the quantity of. And so sometimes I just will say a little bit to put that person on simmer a little bit while I'm communicating and having that person to kind of understand, oh, wow, like he really has had the same experience or a similar experience, right? So that's the reason I talk a little bit instead of just being, like, I don't know, Agent Smith or something. So I explained the idea of identities, and then I discussed a few of them. All right. So you see how I'm using this identities as a tool? It's very, very good. It's a set of tools that allow the person to make good decisions. Okay, so I explained responsibility, the reason something happens or doesn't happen, ownership, responsibility for all that affects your business, and accountability, get the results no matter the excuse. Okay, so look, now put yourself in my shoes and put yourself in their shoes. Is it even right for me to say yes or no? Don't join? Don't resign, or resign? No, it's not something that I should ever myself say, because I'm not them. And so I need them to come to the good conclusion, the best conclusion. And I need it for them to see it. So I went through these, okay? So now, the interesting part of this is that as this is goal achievement and this is goal failure. And so far better to get the identity strongly built, person made the right decision. So when I went through these identities and these identities, the person is able to identify just within those top 3 to say, yeah, you know what? It is my business. And if I really did take responsibility that something happens or doesn't happen, then that person's going to figure out how to communicate with the upline maybe and say, hey, when you do this, I get it has this effect on me. Is that something that we can work with a little bit? Or the person just says, oh, okay, so, all right, it's my business anyway. And obviously, if I end up having an organization of, let's say, 10,000 people, it would be impossible for me to be able to help every single person. And so at some point, I'm going to have to let them work out their own problems down the line there. You see, so that's the reason that I'm even standing up here week after week after week after week is that I want to like pass off all of the knowledge, all of the experience. And this right here and this right here, when you're able to help people look at their own life and look at their own doing and not doing, then you are making them very intelligent. One of the things that I see a lot of people on YouTube, and what the apparency is that they are trying to show their knowledge. I am not trying to show my knowledge. I am trying to give my knowledge. The things that I show you are things that I have done not one time, but hundreds, thousands, some of them tens of thousands of times. The things that work are the things that I bring forward to you. And it is not for you to watch them. I want you to own them. I want you to take on the identity of every one of these videos. Because when you do, then you have all of my knowledge plus your knowledge. Okay, so that's the reason that I walk a person through this instead of just giving them what they should do, because I will never be able to answer everybody's questions. Never in my lifetime could I even answer one of my legs in my organization. I couldn't answer all those questions, okay? So that's the reason that I do this. So now, when you go through this and you're looking at what causes goal failure and you're looking at what goal achievement comes from, now you get it. Now you get like that. Why would you shift out of an organization if you're already in an organization? You got some volumes, not a whole lot of volume, and so that wasn't be the loss. But there's other losses that I didn't think this person had ever quantified, and I didn't even bring them up, actually, because the person had already made the decision, and it was the right decision, and so I left it alone. I left it there. So what I didn't discuss, I've not ever seen someone crush it when they've done this. I've seen it a lot of times, unfortunately. But I've never seen anybody crush it. They think they will. They think if they just had the guidance from this one person, right? Never. After the 6 months, they had already often it creates a feeling of transgression, which transgression is an act that goes against a law, rule, or code of conduct. Okay, so the person, just imagine, like, you go to an event and you left an upline to go to another upline, and you're at an event, and that first upline, you see them. You kind of have the creepies, right? Yeah, it's a little creepy. So it's that sort of a thing that reduces your power. You want to be standing up strong, powerful, not feeling like you've harmed another or, like it didn't work out kind of a thing. Okay, so it reduces a person's power. Also, the person loses 6 months to a year of action. And most of the time that I've seen this is that they don't make it back. In fact, they lose their whole vision in that 6 months that they're, quote, off. Or I see them, they try to sneak stuff. They're still operating the business. They put the business in. They have their mother sign up, and then they sell the business back to themselves. All of this extra traffic is like harmful, right? So then the company finds out about it. The person's terminated. It just goes all sideways, okay? So I didn't talk about any of this. I only talked about the identities and having assisted the person to step up in responsibility, ownership, and commitment. That's all I had to do, was restore that person's understanding of those things, right? So these identities are fantastic for coaching, and they're fantastic for people making really good decisions, because when you're in the frame of mind of the kind of, let's call it the loser column, where you're looking at procrastination and distraction and all of these things, well, those are like identities that are harmful. They're identities that get nothing. Okay, so when you're using these fantastic coaching tools, you're building the person up as a person. You're not an answering machine. You're building the person, all right? And so that's always, so it allows the person to come to their own conclusions, and they will learn from it, and they'll probably share their story just like I have, right? Over and over and over again. So in your comments down below, please, have you ever had the idea to switch lines? If so, what did it yield? Have you ever had someone want to switch lines to your business or out of your business? If so, what did it yield? And also, if you like this video, please do like it, share it if you know somebody who might want to see it, and then also subscribe if you haven't already done so. We have a Telegram group you're welcome to join. You can ask questions inside that group, and I am able to answer for everybody. Sometimes I do audio messages and stuff like that. I appreciate you. Thank you.